Marsha Blackburn serves on the Commerce Committee. I think you were able to see or at least hear some of the sound that we ran from yesterday, Senator. Yes. It got pretty contentious.
It was contentious, and appropriately so. We had many of the family members of the victims, and we have to bear in mind 346 people lost their lives. And from the testimony that we heard yesterday, it appears that Boeing tried to go in and manipulate or rig the system in order to speed a product to the marketplace. They knew that there were problems with this. They knew that the alert system had not been working properly. They said they were going to move to fixing that in 2020, but much of this was shielded from the FAA regulators, and you had a couple of the chief technical pilots actually talk about Jedi mind tricking and the regulators and keeping information from them. Incredibly disappointing, and I have no doubt that what you'll see in the House today is many of those members are going to pick up on questions that some of us asked and did not get complete answers to, and continue to press for those answers.
No doubt. And we've seen the House as compared to the Senate, so we have a pretty good idea
right.
what to expect, Senator.
Yeah.
I mean, this, over 400 trying to make a name for themselves, or however many versus the Senate. Let me ask you this. Boeing is making the case that the expertise of their engineers is essential when dealing with the FAA, and that it's actually additive to the overall safety considerations when we're introducing a new jet. Critics would say there's a conflict there because you're Boeing and you're FAA. It's too incestuous. They have the FAA. It's not objective enough. Is there a middle ground that we need to strike for using the expertise of the people that design the plane and the regulators deciding whether it's safe?
Yeah, there is indeed a proper balance that is there. And this is part of our concern. Was there too cozy a relationship? And did these technical pilots, these test pilots, feel as if they could manipulate the system? Another question, and I think you'll see this approached in the House today. Why was that simulator not embodying that exact MCAS system that has become the focus and the problem that all of this is centered around? Did they have those exact team of engineers? And also with the simulator, as they were working this through, why did they only use highly experienced pilots and not pilots from a variety of expertise and a variety of number of flying hours? And then the other thing I think you're going to see is, why was the CEO not read into all of these documents until just recently? And I even asked him yesterday, has he yet been read in to all of these documents and seen everything?
Senator, you've long called in many industries for greater deregulation as opposed to regulation.
Yes.
You now look at this particular situation. Would you call for greater regulation, greater and more strict rules around how the FAA operates, how the airlines operate?
What we need to do is realize that consumers do not have the opportunity to go to the airport and look at all the planes lined up on the tarmac and say, I'm going to take that plane, whether it's Airbus or Boeing or whatever. They schedule a flight and they get on that plane and they trust that that plane is going to be safe. If there is a coziness and if there has become an understanding or a perception or a thinking that a system can be rigged or that regulations can be
that perception
skirted.
Exists right now, Senator. So are you going to call for greater, stricter rules?
We're going to call for cleaning up the system and being certain that all of the flying public, the American public, and then those around the globe are going to be safe. Safety is a top priority, and I really took issue with Mr. Muilenburg yesterday saying they did not sell safety. Safety is a top priority.
Okay.